Hello, everyone, and welcome to my weekly Meltdown coverage of the Challenge Double Agents, episode 11. How is everyone doing today?
It's been a day. It's been a week for us all here. But I'm excited to be talking to you guys again. I feel at peace. I feel at home now that the three of us are back together. This is our first podcast together since Butt Boy, I think. So
that show apparently just that put a curse on us apparently as a trio covering Butt Boy.
Yeah. But wow. I'm doing better than Lolo Jones this episode, so I can't complain.
I mean, most people are. Most people are.
True. Made my Amazon algorithm amazing. The things that come up in that now. Because you watched Butt Boy, how do we get 90 minutes of our lives back, Bill?
First of all, Bill, good to see you. It's been a while.
Hello, Bill.
Have you here?
Welcome to the safe space.
How's everybody doing? I'll be honest, this was a weird episode, right? Yeah. Not only because of the Lolo quit, of course, we'll get into all of that. We didn't get an elimination. It's pretty self-explanatory, like what is going to happen in the elimination. But we have this silly cliffhanger that they had us on tonight. So I don't know. Allison, what do you think the security breach is all about?
Oh, listen, this is what happened. Lolo quit. And now it's just going to be a girls' elimination. That's what I think. That's just what it was. Because what are they going to do? They have two male rogue agents.
So you got to get rid of the men.
You think?
Yeah, you got to. If there's too many men, you got to get rid of men.
Okay, well, I'm only an accountant, so
Yeah, so you should know math, bitch. No, just kidding.
No, I'm just saying. I don't know what the security breach is. It's going to be not worth waiting 7 days for. I'm fairly confident.
I really hope that what actually ends up happening here is that we see the twist go out the window where it's two pairs competing against each other, and it's either the pair goes against each other, so it's meant that guy versus that girl, or it's all the men versus each other, all the women versus each other, except for those that are the double agents. So I'm interested to see what happens. I think we've gotten to the point in the season. The vast majority of the skulls are distributed. We're starting to see people quit. Yeah. We've reached a part of a season. Ashley coming back again. Oh God.
Coming back again.
But before we go any further, let's say hello to some of the people in the chat because we have quite a few people here joining us tonight. Yeah. So as always, we want to say thank you to our mod, Matt Henning, for all the good work he's doing in both my Twitch channel and in the YouTube chat. How you doing, Matt? Sam Higdon, Dolores L, John P. Music, Rory the Virgo, Bill Methling. I said Sam Higdon, but I'll say it again. Kaden, Chanel, Rel, Ethan, wonderful, wonderful JL. We have wonderful people here. So welcome on in, everybody. And if you aren't participating in chat, lurking is absolutely fine. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes.
I think that thank you. I think Channel F's, since Lolo quit, that's two men rogues, so they need an extra man to go down.
Yeah, so I think Chanel's right there.
I like Roy the Virgo's theory, making the male rogues battle it out. I think that would be a good idea. But are we reporting a skull to one of them? Yeah, that's true.
Not fair to CT.
That's true. And like he said, CT realizes this is his only opportunity to go in, and I think that production loves CT a little too much to take that opportunity away from him. I don't think they want him Lolo'd out of the game. If you know. So I don't know. They're in a pickle here. My first thought was I feel like production is probably getting a little bored of the stale gameplay that this big brother alliance has created, right? I feel like the security breach would be fun if maybe they randomly swapped all the partners randomly, so that they're all separate from each other and they're working with different people. I don't know, just something to shake up the game but not make it game breaking.
All I'm saying here, Tyler, is that how dare you accuse Big Brother players of having stale gameplay when they've played such dynamic games as Casey.
Right.
Let's go. Big Brother 20.
How dare you put
or Josh and Big Brother 19.
Put Fessy in that category.
Or Fessy and Big Brother 20.
What's wrong with you?
I mean, even Darrell has fallen for the
or Lolo
Lions.
And here, you know what? And I don't mean shade to this particular queen, but also Amber B. Like, none of these people had dynamic gameplay. Some of them had a lot of obstacles in front of them. Amber B. And a lot of them created a lot of obstacles in front of them. Lolo. Josh. But none of them were strategic. Yeah. So this is the challenge, producers. This is your problem. When you get people who are meatheads, but they know the one thing that is, if we huddle together in numbers, we will dominate season. Like, it's a Neanderthal thought when it comes to like gameplay. Like, that's the outcome you're going to get. So I like that production switching it up, hopefully here. This is my first challenge season. Is this something that often happens where they change up the game about partway through the season, or is this probably something that's unique to the season?
Sometimes if they're partnered up, they'll split the partners up and say, you're on your own now. That's something that happens a lot. So it could be you're on your own now, no more partners. It could be anything, but I think it's going to be multiple people going in. God, I hope nobody comes back. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't understand why it has to be a 2 episode. Like, why do we have to drag it out like this?
Yeah, I mean, I messaged you guys at like 9:15. I was like, they haven't done an elimination yet. Like, usually they've already like started it by now, before they go to like a million commercials. Which, can I just say it for a second? The commercials are so fucking loud. Like, it's like
they make my ears bleed.
And it's always the same.
Did you see nuts? Did you see the commercial for Paramount Plus bringing the original cast of The Real World back?
Excited about that.
I almost shit my pants, which isn't hard for me to do tonight. So it came real close.
So here's my theory about this, right? I do think it's going to be men. I think they have to do Devin. I think that they're going to say any guy who doesn't have a skull, you have to compete. Mm-hmm. And that way CT is going to get in there. Darrell's going to get in there. Yeah. And I think that Corey needs one.
Nam.
Nam. I think they're the only ones, plus, Devin, because he was in the bottom, so because he was eliminated. I think that's what's going to happen. Whoever wins, if Devin doesn't win, they get Devin's skull. The other guy's going to have to go home.
Yeah, I mean, I would be all down for that. I'm like really scratching my head at like what Darrell is doing in this game, and I'm glad that we heard from CT tonight about him feeling really disappointed in Darrell, because Beth, just to give you some context, like I just finished watching The Inferno 2 on Netflix, which I think was filmed in like 2006. They go all the way.
I was a senior in high school.
Right, like I was
your mouth.
I was a freshman in high school.
I was 29 years old. I was doing accounting.
But like that's how long like these guys like on these shows go back, and like Darrell is just forgoing like all those years of friendship and working together for this Big Brother alliance when he doesn't even have his skull. Like I don't really see the Big Brother alliance really going out on a limb for him in particular, when they've got to look out for Josh, they've got to look out for Casey, they've got Fessy. Like it's very mind-boggling to me. I don't understand.
Can I say my one and only bit of praise you will ever hear me say for Lolo Jones?
Go for it.
What's that?
When she voted, said the Big Brother Alliance didn't do what I wanted, so they clearly don't have any loyalty to me, so I don't need to show them loyalty, and voted the other way.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks too late, girl, but yes, you got the fucking picture. Like, this is not an alliance that works. This is exactly what we were talking about last week, and we caught a little bit of flack for this in the comments, and from a commenter who said like, she's definitely working with them and all this stuff, and I was like, we're saying that she shouldn't be working with them. That was our commentary.
Listen,
so I'm happy that she had some autonomy tonight.
Please don't comment on our show unless you've watched the full episode, okay? Because you're assuming, and that makes an ass out of you and me, but really you.
But also context for those who aren't watching this live. We literally watch this record this 10 minutes after the episode ends. So we aren't watching the live stream show that happens like online or whatever. We aren't watching the interviews. We're only watching what is presented to us on television. And if you are a producer and you need context for the story of the show shown outside of the show, then that's an issue with your editing because you have 90 minutes to tell us. And there's a lot of fluff you put in these episodes.
Right. Exactly. No, I totally agree. Exactly. I mean, like, I love the song Centerfold, but like, do we need like a montage to it when like we could be getting more strategy segments? Yeah, you're totally right. Like, this is always our first reaction, like after watching the episode. I always have like all of my notes here, and
that is aggressive. You know where my notes are? Okay, we have 3 different places. We have tablet, notepad, right here.
Yeah,
that's a good
There are 3 types of people.
I love it.
This is me. Like when I'm taking my notes, it's like, wait, slow down.
Pause.
Right.
Wait, time out. I need to ask this too. Okay, what is the medium that we're all watching this on? Allison, what are you watching the show on?
YouTube TV.
But is it on your television? Is it on a computer? Is it like...
It's on my TV, but I can watch it anywhere.
Okay, so you watch on your TV though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where are you watching this, Tyler?
I watch on my iPad.
And I watch on my phone. So just to put this out there, we go from big to small here.
I know.
Don't discriminate. We're not size queens. It's fine.
This is completely off the topic, but I just thought this was interesting food for thought.
Yeah,
I have an off-topic question. What's going on in that trash can behind you?
Girl, look at how many seltzers I have gone through in literally, that's about 4 days worth.
Doesn't your Twitter say like seltzer queen or something like that?
Yes. If you were in my Twitch chat right now and you were a subscriber, spam my seltzer emote.
Yes.
Yeah. People are all like, wow, Beth, you're an alcoholic. I'm like, first of all, these are non-alcoholic.
Yeah,
these are what I drink for water and hydrate. I literally go through a 12 pack every 2 days. Yeah. So just putting that out there, that's literally like 3 to 4 days worth of cans.
Yeah. There we go.
Yes, thank you, Matthew. So for those that aren't on my Twitch channel, I literally have an emote of me drinking seltzer. And I'm working very hard to get Polar Seltzer to sponsor me. They don't know who I am, but I spam them like you wouldn't believe.
Listen, well, now that we plugged it here on My Weekly Meltdown, like we are the most influential reality TV podcast.
Let me tell you something. That trash can looks a lot like mine back in 2007, except it was full of little wine bottles.
The little like airport size.
Yeah, the little airport. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for exposing me. I like it.
That's what I'm here for.
Just to finish our conversation about Lolo, like because this is her swan song here. I really hated how like after the vote, she like gathers everybody in her room, right? And she's like, "Listen, I need to go train for the Olympics. I have bigger things than this show going on. You guys don't want to go against me in the final." And everybody gives her like a big round of applause. And like, I hate this like heroic exit she's trying to create for herself.
Yeah.
When it's really just a quit.
I can't wait to root it for the other countries when she races and be like, that person's a quitter.
Right.
Go Canada. Come on, UK.
She can't see the finish line from where she's starting. She's going to quit.
Yeah. It's 100 meters, bitch. That race is done in like 2 seconds, and she's going to quit about 60% of the way through.
Right. JL says Lolo is a quitter. That's all.
Preach, JL.
It's true. And Alex Kidwell tweeted last week, he was like, listen, like this just proves that like the mental strategic part of these games is so much tougher than anything physical, because she like, you could literally just see on her face, like she was just totally checked out. Like she was just so like over it, so done. And like after all of this shit that she puts Nam through is when she quits, you know? I have no sympathy, and I'm not going to like applaud her for like, wow, you did a really great job exiting.
You know what gets me is like the whole Challenger airlift thing where they had to jump on the rope and fall in the water and then swim. And she's bitching because she's like doing the freaking hysterical backstroke because she lost her damn shoe.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to get into. First of all, Rory the Virgo says she's announcing her quit during the opening ceremony, which I would fucking get. You know how they pass the torch?
Yeah.
I would love for her to like get it and then just drop it and be like, no. And then like, I'm going, this is a waste of my time. I'm going into the Big Brother house. I need to train so I can win $500,000.
You know, Nam freaking broke his back pretty much. He bitched one time and you want to bitch. I couldn't swim because
let's get into that for a second.
The other motherfucker off. Why do you need two?
Here's the thing, okay? I am a swimmer. Like, I don't look like it now, but I was like a good swimmer, recruited to swim in college, didn't swim, ate pizza, drank beer, gained weight, whatever. But like shoes provide more drag. So the only thing that could affect at the moment is that it's so cold that it feels numb and maybe you can't go like this. But that's not what she was complaining about. I lost my shoe and it created more drag. Girl.
I think it's just all excuses at this point. And so Adrian says, like, I heard Lolo was actually removed by production due to her mental health, so producers did something to make it heroic. I don't think so. I don't think that if I were a producer, I'm really pissed with what I got out of Lolo Jones this season on the challenge. I have no reason to make her exit heroic. I have no reason to protect her.
I thought she was having a mental breakdown while doing the backstroke.
By the way, again, as another swimmer moment here, I have never seen somebody in a competitive setting try to do the breaststroke on their back. I've never seen
that either.
Like, girl, at least get into it. Come on.
Listen, I'm an Olympic doggy paddler, and I make crazy noises too. But that was something else.
There are quite a few sources out there that I was seeing on Twitter that confirmed that this is actually a legitimate tea.
So then why don't they just say it like they did for what was the other guy that left for mental health reasons? And they spun that as like very heroic, right? Like TJ even said, like, I'm proud of you for like looking out for yourself and like your mental health first and foremost. Why wouldn't they do that for an Olympic athlete?
Because he had a legitimate freaking triggering PTSD episode. This bitch is a spoiled Olympic brat and shit isn't going her way and she has a nervous breakdown about it. I'm not saying that it's wrong to have a mental breakdown about it, but fuck. Come on for a second. You're on the challenge, Lolo. What do you think you're on here? This isn't the Olympics. It's $1 million freaking reality show that you're on. People are going to backstab and do all kinds of crazy shit. Okay, you're going to lose a shoe from time to time. Okay, just calm down.
I do like what Chanel's saying here, though. Implying she's having mental health issues might be different for her circumstances, which is 100% true. When you're an Olympic athlete, there are mental health checks that go into that. So that could have been damaging for her chances of qualifying. There's a variety of different things that happen here. And we also have to remember that we're in the midst of a pandemic. There might be random weird things that are going on when there comes to health concerns. So that very well could be protected by production. And of course, I know that we don't need to say this, but we're going to say it anyway. The three of us are never going to cut somebody down for having mental health issues.
Oh no, not at all. And I'm not saying that at all.
Oh, I know you are. I want to put that out there that like we're not mad if that's the reason why she has to go. If that's the reason why she has to go take care of it. Go take care of yourself. Your health is more important than anything else. However, it'd be great if they at least alluded to it a little bit. I mean, I shouldn't say that. They pretty much showed us every frame of her like having breakdowns and such. So I feel like it was like implied, but it wasn't like overtly said.
I mean, she says at the very end, she says, it's my own fault. I should have won a daily challenge. Like she admits that like it was her misstep that got her in the situation to begin with. I think she just saw the end of the road. she said, "I don't need to be here any longer," and peaced out.
Hey, listen.
Knowing what we saw her go through on Celebrity Big Brother and that pressure cooker, she did the challenge Champs versus Stars as well. Like this isn't her first rodeo with reality TV production. Her first rodeo with a pressure cooker. First rodeo with an MTV production of the challenge. I don't believe it. I think that's I don't know. But we can move on.
The life lesson here for everyone. If you're having a mental breakdown and you can't handle it, it's best to walk away and quit instead of dragging everyone else down with you and then blaming them for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a really good comment from Dolores. If she had it, that's fair, but I think she's a sore loser, much like Sandra on Survivor. I mean, Sandra saw the writing on the wall that she wasn't going to win the competition to go back in the game, so she left.
That's the difference. Nope, I will stand up for Sandra in this situation, okay? That's different. That was built into the twist. If you don't want to stay in the island anymore, you can go.
That's
fair. This particular moment in the game, you can go. Otherwise, you're here for a long time. I hate that people say that she quit. She took the road that is offered to her in that moment. You are allowed to leave in this moment. And she said, bye. I'm doing it. I'm not staying here. Lolo saw that she wasn't going to win because she's a sore loser and she's entitled. Sandra said, I got 2 crowns.
I don't need this stress.
I don't need this.
Yeah.
And this is literally part of the game that I'm allowed to do this.
Right. I'm not saying that Sandra's the sore loser at all. Like, I agree with her decision to dip out at that point 1,000%.
No, but I just want to say that for other people who argue that, like, Sandra's a quitter, bitch. She's a 2-time winner who didn't need shit. She's also, like, one of the oldest women out there.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right. She wasn't going to win when like Natalie was out there. Yeah.
I just think that if it's a mental health issue, it needs to be addressed because it's kind of putting a shaming a little bit on mental health issues.
I totally agree.
Because it's okay to have a mental breakdown and exit because the way they edited it made it look like she was quitting. Yep. So speaking of which, how about what was CT doing to Big T in this episode? He had electrolysis hooked up to her, and what was happening?
I've never seen CT more like proud of a partner before. It was very cute.
It worked.
Yeah,
whatever he did to her worked. Little Big T jumped on that rope. She was all smiling, and they won the airlift competition. I just want to say I am so proud. I got a little emotional watching that, but you can't have a challenge without Devin bitching and going, way to go, Josh. And Josh screws up, pushes 90, it gets her rope. And then when he goes, he screws up, does the same thing. But my favorite part was when the next group went, he's like, make sure you grab your rope.
Yeah.
Don't grab her rope.
Yeah. No, I was very proud of CT for this is what a supportive partner looks like, and this is the payoff for that behavior, right? Big T beat an Olympic athlete in a challenge today.
You know what? That would be enough for me to quit if I were.
Yeah, that's true. And this is exactly what CT needed was to win one of these and put himself in. I kind of thought that maybe this was going to be the end of the Big Brother alliance, but nope, they all stuck together and Devin got voted in. So I don't know, but I liked Devin's pitch. He said he's a
good talker.
Take out Josh now. Save me for another day. I'm a layup. At least I can admit it. And I liked the pitch. I just keep thinking Devin would be really good on Big Brother, which is ironic because he's talking shit about it the whole season. But I think he would be better at Big Brother than the Big Brother Alliance people.
Yeah.
This is exactly what happened. He was like, let it come to you. And then when it was coming to her, he went and he grabbed it and she was like, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Josh?
Well, I love his confessional before. He's like, yeah, I'm a really good swimmer, so we're going to do really good in this challenge today.
Oh, God.
Provided you can grab the fucking rope. Jesus. It's ridiculous. I watched that. And here's the best part, okay? You can go back and watch this. This is Josh waiting for the rope, waiting for the rope, waiting for the rope. The rope is like 5 feet in front of him. For whatever reason, let's look over here. Oh no! Like if you've played any sport that requires hand-eye coordination, the time to look around you isn't right when it is in front of you. Like that's like ridiculous.
Right. And Devin says another star-studded performance by Josh.
I know. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people don't like Devin, but
he's just such a troll.
He's such a freaking troll.
But he owns his shit. And that's the thing. Like he owns that he is awful socially. He owns that he's not great himself.
He's an IT guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, if it's a puzzle, I got it. And he played the layup card today in tonight's episode as well. And he was like, it's worked before, it'll work again. Unfortunately, it didn't work again. But he has a really good sense of self in this game. And even though I find him annoying, and if I were in the house with him, I'd probably be like, oh my God, I want to slap you. Although I'd want to slap like pretty much all the guys.
Thank you, Rory, for doing that for me.
Yes. I totally agree with JL here. The show has needed Devin so bad. Yes, this season's getting pretty humorless. We need Devin to be like, yeah, that boy, Josh, really, really good job here. It just adds a layer of comedy to everything.
Did you notice during what I have called the fake ice dome party again, the entrance was amazing of
Centerfold.
CT. I love it. I love that. This is the soundtrack of my life that they are playing every. Oh, have you done for me? Anyway, so
from Janet,
Devin is talking to Amber B, and you know, I don't think Amber B is fake. I don't understand what all that's about. So I'm just
She's
whatever.
The fakest woman in the house. And I'm like, Kyle, shut your fucking mouth. She is allowed to be like, you know what? It's okay. I got my skull, blah, blah, blah. And be mad at the same time. That's not fake.
Yeah, right.
Listen, Kyle, I probably wouldn't be talking about fake shit, especially with what you had done to your hair.
Girl, and your teeth.
And your teeth. Slow your roll on the fake. But I just thought it was
super
funny.
Fake.
Yeah, super
Kyle,
fake.
and I can't believe Amber B is so fake in this house.
You think you got your red skull. What are you gonna do now? But like Devin is standing there and he's talking to Amber B and he's got his drink in his hand. He's like, yeah, and I was like he was out. He was like, it's a game move. It was a good game. And she's like, well, I like you. She's like, I'm a hard person to get along with. Okay, I'm a hard person. I get along with you. He's like, again, I'm not a hard person to get with. It's a game move. Okay, you do what you got to do. And then they cut to his diary. Like, yeah, I'm just saying whatever I have to because I did backstab her last week.
Well, and Amber B says the same thing basically in confessional after. She's like, I don't trust him. Like, this is just a game conversation. And I'm like, okay, well then what's the point of like even showing this when like neither of these two people care about this conversation?
Oh no, but the reason was not for them. It's to bring in Gabby so she has another storyline that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, she's furious.
So Gabby's mad because how dare he talk to Amber B in a game that's about social relationships where you fucked over Amber in the previous, like how dare he try to smooth that over? Meanwhile, you've been basically having a showmance with Fessy and been talking to Josh the entire time, who are like the sworn mortal enemies of your partner Devin in this whole game. Fuck off. Come on, Gabby. What is up with this?
And she wouldn't have anything to worry about if she put herself in against Amber M last week.
Little Ambler.
You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah, Ambler is gone.
Very scary.
Rip Ambler.
Can I say something about that real quick? I know y'all, but that hall brawl from last week, it was so, especially CT, and you dropped your ball. Do you want me to give it to you and hand it to you? You know, do you want to get by? And what? I mean, it was not a like. Why would you? I don't know. It was not a competition. Gabby should have gone in against Ambler.
Totally.
Yeah. 100%. There was literally no reason for her not to.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if you couldn't see like the challenge that you're about to do, but like it's very clearly the hall brawl. I don't understand how you don't put yourself in there.
Yeah.
No, I think I have an eyelash on my eye, so I will be back in just a minute.
Okay.
You get that eyelash.
So BB Sucks VIP Lounge. Oh my God. I was laughing so hard, Devin, last week with the Big Brother Sucks VIP Lounge. I just love Devin. Because he owns his shit. And he even says, look, I get a little bit of power and I get drunk with it. You know, that's just the way it is. But, you know, the whole deliberation and, you know, Darrell's the swing vote and all that. And they end up putting in Gavin and Debbie or Devin and Gabby, you know. Lolo quits. Now there's a security breach and we've got to wait a whole 7 days. But that's okay. Florida Bama Shore comes back on tomorrow.
Are you excited about Florida?
Listen, you guys, I watch so much freaking trash TV. I just marathon through Tell Me All Your Secrets on Amazon Prime. I highly recommend it. I'm currently on an oxygen roll right now. I'm going through all of the exhumed episodes where they solve mysteries by digging up people who've been dead for 50 years. It's so good. So I've got a lot of time on my hands right now.
I mean, there's I'll be real. There's not really too much else to talk about from this episode.
Yeah, that's about it.
I mean,
right?
Lolo had a breakdown. Lolo quit. Lolo was crying. Josh didn't cry this week. Devin was a major smartass again. No, wait a minute. Josh did cry. He was hugging Randy saying it was my fault. So I'm sorry. My bad. He did cry. And I'm thinking the Kyle impressions. I'm kind of into that, Beth. I think that.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie.
That's pretty good.
You pulled it out.
You pulled it out too.
I sat back and I went, that Southern bitch can do this accent. Holy crap. I said, Allison's got that. That's great.
What has Kyle done? Does he have a skull?
Yeah.
Yes.
He does. Okay, so he's got a skull, but he's just sitting back and he's literally not doing anything.
Because he's with Cam and they both have skulls. So he really doesn't need, nor should he actually want to.
Right.
He's probably third on the guy's list of being thrown in, right? Yeah. So Josh and Devin are ahead of him. So for the time being, it behooves him to keep out of trouble and let those two constantly go back and forth if he can help it.
Yeah.
So, listen, this
which
show
is pretty easy to do when like Devin and Josh are still there, right? Like they do a pretty good job making big targets out of themselves on their own. So no need to really push anything there.
Totally.
Yeah, the show's pretty repetitive at this point every week. You know, Josh is crying, CT's funny, being supportive of Big T. You know, Devin's being a major smart ass. You know, Josh is crying. I mentioned that already. You know, it's just well, we won't have Lolo anymore.
Thank God.
I don't know.
I just feel bad for Nam.
I tweeted. I feel bad for Nam as well. I feel like they'll bring back Nam. Yeah, bring back Nam. That's fine. But I tweeted this. I'll say it out loud here. I hope there's not a single show on Viacom that ever considers bringing Lolo back for anything. She's just not, like, it's not worth it. She's not good. Like, here's the thing. There's some people who are dramatic and it's good TV. She's not good TV, like at all. Like she's not fun to watch having a breakdown. Part of that, in my opinion, is even though I've really shat hard on her in the past, like I do think it's an abuse of someone who has a lot of mental health issues. I don't think that's fun TV to watch.
It's uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
Listen, it's kind of like I watch 90 Day Fiance, none of one of my shit shows. I'm all over that. There are some people on that show that really have serious deep-seated mental health issues, and it's cringe. Like it's so uncomfortable to watch, and I feel like, why am I watching this? This is really bad. So I mean, are we getting to a point in reality television where the crazier, the more off-center, unbalanced you are, the better TV you are at any cost? I mean, when is it enough? When is it too much?
So this is a really great question, Allison. So I feel like I could make like a whole show about like the morals and ethics of like reality TV production and like what they have learned and refused to learn over the years. And so, like I said, the Inferno 2, right? 2003, I think they said in the chat. Mm-hmm. That's when they really embraced the crazy girls. So like Tanya, Veronica, Beth, and they really felt no like shame in like really just digging these girls into a hole and like really ruining their lives. And
let's be 100% honest. Let's interject right here.
Yeah.
They're more likely to put someone who is mentally unstable in, who is a woman, because it's much easier to create a narrative of women are crazy if there's any sort of pressure on 100%.
them. 100%.
And that's not to say that they don't do that with men as well. I'm just saying it is easier for that narrative because we build that into women can't like handle pressure as like a narrative society, which is like fucking stupid.
Yeah, Chanel brings up Katie, Camilla. Yeah, exactly. These are all great examples. But I feel like we as the viewer have gotten wiser and like started to like sniff out like, you know, maybe this isn't like morally something we should be supporting. And so like it becomes less filled with humor and like pointing at them and laughing at them. Where like instead now we're like, you know, maybe we shouldn't do that to people. Maybe we should try to find good TV that's not at the expense of somebody's well-being in the outside world.
But don't you feel like, I mean, it sounds like shows like The Challenge are going the other way, right? So that they're going more progressive with this. Don't you feel like Big Brother has gone the other way with this? Where like they're regressing? Where they're putting people who clearly, like I'm thinking of Mickey or whatever.
Yeah, Jackson,
Mickey.
Putting Jackson, Mickey on, putting people who clearly are not passing the psychic valves or they're doing something to make sure
Sam from Big Brother 20.
Like there's just a lot that's happening.
If you are on a mental upswing, you can pass that shit. If you're on a high knowing that you're going to be on a show, you'll pass it with flying colors. You can fool anybody. You can fool your psychiatrist, your psychologist, your family. You can fool anybody.
But here's the thing, right? Mm-hmm. With Mickey, they knew he was recovering from literally he like went into like withdrawal in like sequester for the show.
Had like injection scars on his chest like the first or second week of the live feeds of Big Brother 21. And to kind of like hush this, they like didn't really scold him for breaking like have not rules, things like that. But I honestly, Beth, like I think that's a big part of why casting was fired for Big Brother. So you know, especially now that it's all under this big Paramount umbrella, the same people are at the head of like the Challenge as they are like Survivor, Big Brother now. So
Love Island, like all those things.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like we're gonna start to see a lot more like uniformity with like better decision making with casting.
I hope
so.
I don't understand how I haven't been cast on Big Brother. As nuts as I am, and if that's what you want, I'm freaking gold for you. I will quit my meds. I will do what you want. I will give you what you want.
But I will also put this out there, okay? Like there are people who act crazy, and there are people who have legitimate mental health issues that this is not healthy for them, and it's irresponsible to exploit them in that way.
I hate it when people want to act that way. It really pisses. I can't. That's a whole other.
But my point in saying that is it is absolutely possible for you to if you cast somebody and you think, oh my God, this person just has a quirky attitude, and it becomes apparent that this isn't a quirky attitude, that they're going through something. It is your job as a production member to take them out of that situation.
Sam from Big Brother.
Look at that same season, Big Brother 20. Look at like Sam's like mental health issues compared to like Caitlin Herman, who was just like a wackadoodle, but like good, entertaining TV. Like she had no like she wasn't like mentally like ill. She was just like a crazy good personality for entertaining television, right? Whereas like Sam was like really having mental breakdowns, threatening to kill people in the house, asking to quit so many times, and they literally wouldn't let her quit. So
on top of that, think about in the same exact season all the shit that Bailey had to go through.
Yeah, right.
Like, this is my point, is that I understand you want to put on an entertaining show, but I guarantee in today's climate, people not only will understand you saying, we had to let Bailey go because of some personal issues. Natalie Anderson just had to leave the challenge for personal issues. Yeah. Very similar to what Bailey was going through, just putting that out there. Mm-hmm. And they allowed her to do so. And it wasn't a big deal. It was like, yeah, it was sad because we wanted Natalie to do well. We wanted to root her on. But we will likely see Natalie again should she want to do this.
Yeah.
In the same way that we could see Bailey again should she want to do it, which plot twist we did. Sam is somebody that they absolutely should have pulled from television and said, this isn't good for you and it's not good for us. Productions need to understand that when you are exploiting people's health, mental or physical, it is not a good look on you as a production company or as a channel or a network or whatever. Like, you are never going to get brownie points for that. It doesn't make compelling television. It makes people want to turn it off.
Yeah.
Period.
From your Twitch stream, Beth, Hannah GB says, I'm just dropping by and I've not watched any of this, but I personally say one I know of is Victoria from America's Next Top Model, Cycle 19. I've watched like a lot of the Jay's chats where he interviews like past contestants, and that production is so fucking crooked.
That's
and
problematic as hell.
I can like, I'm telling you guys, I can make a whole show about like reality TV production, and that's why I'm so excited to talk to Andrew eventually about his experience on The Hustler, just because like I want to know like the inside mind of like what these reality TV producers, and like that's like a game show compared to like something like Survivor, Big Brother, Top Model, The Bachelor, that's like established like 500 million seasons in, so of course it's going to be different, but it's just a very interesting topic, and I really think that like a part of the contract that these people should have to sign is that like I feel like CBS or whoever should be paying for like therapy for whoever goes on their shows after they're done, just to make sure that they're okay. It's really that simple. Just pay for like a therapist so that like they make sure that they're okay. Like the TV show like gets a better reputation out the door because like their people are taken care of and stuff too.
In the contract, you have to have it signed that you have the appointment set up and ready to go with a provider done. Yeah. Yep. So that when you leave, whether it's pre-jury or when the show is over, you have it in place. You're scheduled for an appointment within, let's say, 2 weeks of getting out of the house. Boom.
Yeah,
like I think that's just. I think that completely should be a no-brainer. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if there is a clause like that that's already in there that they just. But I don't think they pay for the therapy. But it will. So one thing that you brought up, and actually that Hannah brought up, I think America's Next Top Model is a really interesting one because obviously not only are you dealing with health and mental health issues there, you're also dealing with a culture that really affects the way people think about themselves and encourages body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
And I loved the first like 10 cycles of that show. I loved it. I was a millennial girl in high school and college when that show was in its prime. Okay. Right. Like this is exactly what I loved watching. Great television. And are you sneezing or burping, Tyler?
Well, are you having an aneurysm? What's happening right now?
I had to sneeze, but like it didn't come through. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. But it just reminded me that definitely Sam Higdon in the chat brings up Tan Herzog turned to drugs and alcohol after Survivor, which is true. So one thing that is really interesting. So I'm on the TikToks. I'm an oldie on the TikToks now. And what I am enjoying is like this constant fun and sometimes not so fun banter between millennials and Gen Z. Gen Z being like, oh, you can't part your hair in the side anymore. You can't use the crying, laughing emoji, like all those things, right? But one thing that they keep talking about is like, why do you guys love skinny jeans? Like blah, 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 blah. And they're starting to see some of the fashions from like the mid 2000s come back. Yeah. And a lot of this is very triggering for millennial women and other individuals. Doesn't only have to be women, but it predominantly affected women because fashion in the 2000s was not about what you were wearing. It was how your body looked in them. It was all about body. You had to be thin, no ass, no boobs, nothing. And if you weren't rail thin
on Top Model,
you needed to be a model on Top Model. Correct. Let me look at any of the juicy velour things. It was always about showing your midriff, showing your thong, showing all these different things. It was not about the clothes. It was about how you looked in the clothes. Yeah. Gen Z, what I love about you guys and what we're finally getting is the embracing of people of all different body types. If you have curves and swerves, you work. If you're, rail thin, you work. I mean, everything is valid. Everything is beautiful, right? And what I'm seeing, especially with thinking about America's Next Top Model, is how shows like that also fed into that culture. Yeah. We're starting to see some of those trends come back. And I, as someone who grew up in my formative years, seeing that and have struggled for many, many years about how I look and that I'm not somebody who's a size 2. For a long time, I was a 12, a 14. I'm an 18 now. I mean, these are things that I have struggled with my entire life. And I'm really scared that the next generation of girls are going to grow up seeing the same kind of shit again. So that is, again, productions. You have a responsibility to put out the messaging for all people to accept themselves and love themselves.
Totally. And to just not set people up to fail on these shows. I remember specifically on Top Model, there was a plus size girl who they got to the shoot and she couldn't fit in any of the outfits. And that is 1000% a setup. They know all of their measurements going into the season. And they have weeks, months to prepare all of these shoots for them. Right. They knew they could get a moment out of her because of that. And it's just terrible. Let's see. Chanel says, it isn't lost on me that they prefer girls within the age range for Top Model. Easy to manipulate for the show's benefit.
Meaning girls that were literally between 18 and 21 years old.
Yeah. So Sam asked us, do you guys think 18 to 21-year-olds should be on reality TV?
No.
And this concerns me because didn't Jeff Probst say in Survivor 39's finale that they were going to start letting 16-year-olds audition for the show? Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
They did, and here's what I don't know. And I think what they meant was open up applications so they could cast them a couple years in advance.
Okay.
I don't know if they meant let's have 16-year-olds on the show. We don't know that. They very well could have, but I'm willing to give them a benefit of the doubt. But absolutely, if you can't vote legally, you shouldn't have to vote on a reality show. Putting that out there. Just putting out there.
Yeah, you're not going to make any life choices for me if you're 18 years old in my bank account. Okay, it's not happening.
And I like this comment from Jack Burke, who brings up RuPaul's Drag Race. He says, RuPaul's Drag Race definitely needs to have a therapist for the queens. So many queens suffer so much after the show due to how poorly edited the queens can be or received by the public. Now, I 100% agree with this too. And I mean, there's no secret here. RuPaul doesn't even know 95% of the queens' names after the fact. He'll be like, who was that girl who did that kind of thing? Oh, yeah, she was great. And just think about how invalidating that is. You were on the show for, I don't know, 5-6 weeks and RuPaul still doesn't know who you are. That's a lot to deal with. On top of the fact, you take someone who's on this current season, Candy, who is a controversial character, but at the end of the day, these are people who are coming on a show to show off their talents. They're not, yes, it's a competition, but they build as a reality show first, a competition second. This is supposed to be a platform to show off their talents more than anything else. It's not supposed to be who wins. Yes, that's obviously the point of the whole show. It's a platform to show off exposure, 100%. So it really is bothersome I've tweeted about it today, and I will continue to tweet. If anybody caught me on the RuPaul's Drag Race podcast this past week for RHAP, I expressly said, no, I don't think Candy should have stayed. I think that she should have gone home this past week. I think that it was ridiculous that she stayed with all these other different factors. And I think that it diminishes her talent to keep her in the competition because clearly it seems like they're keeping her in for production reasons because of her personality and not for her talent.
I think
I think that completely undermines it. And by making her a controversial character, production is setting her up to be attacked online. And I think that that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's the thing is like it is literally a business for these producers to keep the show going, to make more money. So like if it doesn't like for this lip sync, right? Like you can edit like any way you want to make it look like they're doing a better performance than the other person. They're really just asking themselves backstage like, who's gonna make a better like not only episode next week, but better Untucked following. You know, who didn't Candy have like a lot of drama like a few episodes before in the Untucked?
I mean, you got rid of Tamisha Iman, and if you got rid of Candy, it's your two queens, which let's not forget, they're both queens of color. So of course we have to have some kind of production influence of only the queens of color can be loudmouths and cause drama and everything. That's problematic as hell as well. Yeah. But those are the two narrators of the drama from the season, right? Yeah. And meanwhile, they're not showing any of the shady things that Elliot with two T's is saying as microaggressions and those kind of things as well. So the things that people choose to put on the show, whether it's Drag Race, America's Next Top Model, The Challenge, whatever, it's very much in line with whatever the story they want to share. Now, of course, the people who were on the show said what they said, they did what they did, but remember that sometimes it's just about the snippets they show and it's not the full picture.
Yeah. And to tie it all back to the challenge, and Allison can weigh on this as being a huge Devin stan. Chanel says, when we talk about all these things, I can understand why Devin is casting himself as the villain rather than letting MTV do it to him without his consent. And like that's what we love about Devin is like he owns it. He leans into it.
I want to apologize, Chanel. I called you Channel F earlier. Reading is not my first. I'm from the South. What do you want?
We love you, Chanel.
Okay, we love you, Chanel. But it's true. That's how I would totally feel about it. You know, why let the show write your narrative? Why let them take control? This is how I am, and this is how I'm going to be. Good luck editing it.
Right.
Because that's it. And, you know, people are like, oh, Devin's a bully. I don't think Devin's a bully. I just think he's just being a little shit. You know, I've been around people like that my whole life. I might be one of those people, but I just, you know, I like to poke, and you know, I would, you know, I get it. It's funny. Josh fucked up, and he did it in front of Devin of all people, and Devin's like, oh, another great performance by Josh. I mean, that's freaking gold for TV.
Yeah, so and it takes away the ability for the producers to have like CT saying confessional, like, yeah, Devin's he's not good at these challenges. He sucks, you know, because Devin's saying it himself. Why would they have somebody else like say that in like a serious way when you could have Devin being like, yeah, I suck, I own it. Like that's what it is. You know what I mean? So I think all of us are in agreement here. Like, keep doing you, Devin. Like you are hyper aware of your situation and you're in the production going on around you. Good for you for leaning into it and kind of beating it, in my opinion.
If I can be honest, I find people who know who they are to be the most compelling television. I actually really don't like it when a competition is full of people who aren't in on the joke about themselves. I don't like that.
You've got to be. That's how I kind of feel like how I would be. Like, look, I'm all about the self-deprecating. Look, I get it. Okay. And I'll be the first to admit it. I'll beat you to the punchline every time. I get it. I'm not going to lie. I can't win. You put me on Big Brother, I'm not going to win shit unless it's a staring contest.
Or like a cat trivia.
Or a cat wrangling.
I don't know.
And no shit, they've had a cat contest where they dressed up like cats, and they had to.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
They had to get fake
catch
shit
the laser pointer.
Will that be the 18th, like final first part of the HOH? Oh my god, it's so stupid.
I'll win that in a heartbeat. Listen, I live in a 3-ring circus with 4 of these things. Do you know what my pre-birthday gift was this morning? 3 lumps of vomit in my office.
That was Tyler.
Oh, was it Tyler?
Yeah,
Sora. You let your puppy in.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Time out. Have we shown Sora on camera / is it a possibility to do so?
Yeah, let me go get her. But I just want to point out the people in the chat before I go get her.
Yeah. Of course.
Thank you everybody for like talking with us. Like,
yes,
through,
thank
like,
you.
Yeah.
this is a really fascinating topic to me. So I'm glad like people are saying like this is like a good conversation. I feel validated for something I think way too much about. Let me go get Sora. I'll be right back.
Sometimes we have to be a little insightful because it's true. It is a thing, and I'm noticing it more and more. And
Rory the Virgo brings up a great point. So this is a queen that was from season 9 in All Stars 4 or 5. 4. 5? I can't remember. Oh my God. I'm literally losing it. Of Drag Race. If you are a queen, if you're not just a queen, but if you are a person who just has all the self-confidence in the world, even if you aren't in touch with this particular reality and you can survive that, then absolutely I want to see that as well. So, okay, look at.
Hi, Sarah.
She just woke up. She was sleeping.
God, look at that little ear.
Hi, Sora.
So this is Sora. She still has her ear down, and I kind of hope it stays down forever because it's just the cutest thing.
She is like adorbs.
Yeah, she's
still a word.
Angel.
Oh, it's definitely still a word.
See, this is why Tyler's up every morning talking to me at 7 o'clock as I bitch about,
I'm a morning person now.
As I bitch about Kelly Ripa constantly.
Oh my God. These two grannies are up talking about Kelly and Ryan. And I wake up 6 hours later and I'm going, what's going on? And they're all like, well, we were discussing that Kelly Ripa is not entertaining and that it's a forced humor and all that stuff. And I keep thinking, hey, Grandma and Grandpa, why don't we stop watching it if we don't like it?
Don't even get me started. I watch Wheel of Fortune. I watch Wheel of Fortune too. Okay. Like I'm all over the Wheel of Fortune, all of it. I'm actually trying. I want to get on Wheel of Fortune. But no, they pissed me off this week on Kelly and Ryan Live because they're doing the fake virtual traveling bullshit because every year they go on trips. They were in Puerto Rico, wherever today. Yesterday, they were in Texas. Why would you do a virtual visit to Texas after everything they've been through and then ask the guy, how's the weather? I just don't get it. I hate it. No,
they just have the worst chemistry, and like Ryan Seacrest kind of looks like a hobo at this point. It's just like a mess, and like they just don't know how to talk to each other. Like his jokes aren't funny at all. It's very cringy.
I don't blame Michael Strahan for leaving the way he did and not telling her shit.
So here's the thing.
'Cause that's a whole other thing. But anyway.
No, so here's the thing. One of the people who was the finalist to be her co-host, and I don't think it was when Michael Strahan left. I think it was when Regis left, like a few years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to be Josh Groban. Like he was one of the finalists. And okay, don't you dare make that face about my future husband.
That's right. You're a huge Josh Groban fan. Did you like his guest appearance on Glee?
Yeah, actually, I fucking loved that. That was really funny to me.
Josh Groban, kill yourself.
And he's like boozing and sexing up the old lady at the end or whatever. It's so stupid. But no. So Josh Groban actually is a very comedic person, has like a really great on-screen personality.
I wouldn't guess that from Josh Groban.
I'm out of focus. What's happening?
Yeah, your camera's drunk. Okay, there we go.
It doesn't want to hear about
that's exactly the point. Is like people don't expect that he's funny because he sings such serious music, but he's hysterical. Like he'll literally be on like he'll bring a couple okay, first of all, I'm fully aware that I'm living every single what am I trying to say? Stereotype of like a basic white girl with her mom who goes and watches Josh Groban live. Don't at me. I know it. It's true. Okay. I don't care.
That's nothing to be ashamed of.
I'm not ashamed. I wear it like a fucking badge. I have my fucking badge right here. Look at that. My little VIP.
Oh my God. Right there, you are that white girl.
I am white. I don't know if we needed this. Anyway, so But he will literally be like, okay, like, you know, this is the oldest audience in the world, besides maybe like Michael Bublé, right? So he's literally out there and he'll be like, okay, like we need a couple that will come on stage, and people will be like, we're celebrating our 50th anniversary. Oh, you guys come up here. I'm like the youngest person in the stadium, you know? So they go up and he's, you know, popping a bottle of wine and, you know, oh, sit here. He's lighting candles and getting them all like romantic. And also tell me a little bit about why, you know, when did you get married? Where'd you get married? Those kind of things. And he gets them all. And then he'll go, now that we've really set the mood here, I'm going to sing a song about breaking up. And like, it's just like that switch that he's just so funny with. But anyway.
Listen, I know what it's like to be the only young person at a concert. In 1993, I went with my mom to see Meatloaf in this Bat Out of Hell, Back into Hell tour. Okay.
Listen, I
was legit the youngest person there. What?
I saw Fleetwood Mac in 2011.
Oh,
I was the
Fleetwood
youngest
Mac
person
is
at
awesome.
that concert. Oh, I know.
Fleetwood Mac is timeless.
1000%, but I was easily the youngest person there.
You were probably also the most sober person there, and that is really saying
and we
something.
Ain't talking about alcohol.
True. So to wrap it up, we
covered a lot. Listen, can I just say something about Kelly Ripa real quick, because it's bothering me.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. When I was a kid, you know, my parents used to watch Regis and Kathy Lee, and I like Regis. I always liked Regis. I thought, yes, I liked Regis, okay? And I thought he was okay with freaking Kelly Ripa. And it was like when Regis left, now she is trying to be Regis. Like she's really trying to have that humor and be funny and have those quick puns. I don't like it when people think they're funny. The best humor is natural humor and just going with it. And when you force it and push it, I'm just waiting for the day that Ryan Seacrest takes a coffee cup and hits that bitch in the face, and I will be there for it. That's all I got.
I just Googled if Kelly Ripa was on Cameo. I would love to get a cameo.
No.
Of her being like, hey, Allison, I heard you're
for your birthday tomorrow. For your birthday tomorrow.
Yes, everybody. It is Allison's birthday tomorrow. Everybody in the chat, please wish her happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Allison. Happy birthday. Whoa. To you.
Oh,
beautiful.
I just dropped my panties a little.
That's how I feel with Josh Groban.
Yes.
So we've talked about Lolo Jones. We've talked about Josh
mental
Groban,
health and casting and the impacts of production, and Josh Groban, Kelly Ripa, and birthdays.
Yeah,
and a corgi.
In a corgi. But one last thing I wanted to say is that this Saturday we are going to be doing a draft for the Big Brother Canada 9 house guests that were released today. I really like the cast. Spoiler alert. I can never say that right. Spoiler alert. But yes, so I'm very excited for us to draft our first new season of like Big Brother Survivor in over a year. You know, we had BB22, we had Winners at War. So like the last like newbie season of one of these shows we've talked about is Island of the Idols. So it's been a while. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to see. I know it's weird, right? So
I'm
I
just
can't wait.
Thinking of how hot of a mess that season was.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So we'll be talking about all of that, kind of picking our favorites and making some predictions for the season. So that will be Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So
and I will point out, if you are a patron, specifically at tier 3 or even tier 2, you get first dibs in potentially joining us. So if you would like to join our draft, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/myweeklymeltdown. It's, I believe, $10 for tier 2, $15 for tier 3. And that is a part of the benefit of joining us and supporting our show at that level.
Yeah. And there's 14 house guests, but I have a feeling there's going to be 16. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 2 people that come back from Big Brother Canada 8.
Well, I'm just going to put out there that there might be a reason why I dressed like a Canadian, because there may not be only one Beth who's a Leo and a musician.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Yeah, there is a Beth on this season of Big Brother Canada.
Who's a Leo and a musician. And I don't know where we heard that from before.
We'll see.
Would you guys be effing gagged, though, if for whatever reason I was on Canada? Like Big Brother Canada. I'm like all of 20 minutes south of Canada. And I somehow crossed the border that's closed just to go into the Big Brother house.
Message us at like 7:50 on like Wednesday, being like, "Hey guys, I'm not feeling well. Like I'm pretty overwhelmed with work. Like, can I skip the show tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." And then
we get Matt Henning to join, and then it's like all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my freaking god, it's Beth."
Well, if you are in Big Brother Canada, we'll get Josh Groban to come on this podcast and talk about your game at length, and we'll hook you up in that.
I want it well known and documented right here. Somebody clip this moment when it comes up. I want it known now. If I'm ever cast on Big Brother, Survivor, any kind of show that gives me a confessional, I will never talk about the game. I will exclusively talk about my love for Josh Groban. I will compare everything to a song of his. I will talk about his humor and all that.
What would Josh Groban do?
That's not a threat. That's a promise.
Can I talk about Can I talk about Kelly Ripa and all of my?
Yeah,
I think Kelly Ripa and Josh Groban need to be in our next brand deal somehow.
Yes.
Can we do Blood versus Water, and Josh Groban and I are teamed up?
I get fucking teamed up with Kelly goddamn Ripa.
I'll be teamed up with Dean from Island of the Idols. All right. Well, thank you guys all for tuning into this shit show. We'll be back on Saturday. Everybody have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, wear a mask, all that jazz. All right. Goodbye.